Okay, so today we are looking backwards. This is going to be training my tree monitor's pre-interaction behavior. So as I was working on part 4 of this series, I came across a folder with some very old videos that I didn't even know I had anymore. It's from right before I started interacting with them. So I started looking through these clips and there's a lot of interesting stuff I found in there. And I figured it'd be a good idea to make this video just to give you an idea of what their behavior was like right before I started interacting with them. So how do you know when they're curious of you? Uh, get a lot of examples of them staring at me. Just get their general demeanor leading up to when and why I started to try to interact with them in the first place. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So right off the bat, you can see this is Ajax just staring at me here. So I had said before that this was one of the main reasons why I first started trying to interact with them in the first place. And now here you can see that this is a few weeks before that event, and they were already staring at me then too. This is more of Ajax staring at me some. Also in these clips, pay attention to their general demeanor. See, they're really relaxed, and keep in mind, I'm sitting 6 feet in front of this enclosure right now. They can see me. So there was a little scare by Ajax because Kale is climbing that rope. Notice how quiet I'm being as well. Again, this is before any interactions have taken place, so I wasn't expecting anything to happen here. So I'm just filming them as they're sitting around. I'm probably interested in them because they're just staring at me. Here's another one. Ajax is just fixated on me. Kale's moving around right next to him, yet he's just hyper focused on staring at me sitting in my chair. Look at their tails. You can see how relaxed they are here. So this is mainly just stuff I've chopped out of the videos because you have to understand back then I didn't think anything was going to happen. I wasn't interacting with these guys. So most of my videos are just, oh, I see them moving from this side of the enclosure to the other side. I'm going to grab my camera real quick and get a video of this. I'm not talking to them. I'm not trying anything. But you'll see there is some stuff going on here that I wasn't noticing at the time. Like here's Kale up at the glass trying to get my attention. And here's Ajax again staring at me. Something else to keep in mind here is Kale's only been inside this enclosure for a week or two at most. Because I only had Kale maybe a month and a half before he moved into this enclosure with Ajax. Before that, he was in the old Ackie enclosure before it was built up, and he was in there being quarantined and being treated for parasites. Because again, Kale spent 2 months in the wild at least before I got him, and he's around the same age as Ajax, but I don't know his exact age. That could be Ajax staring at me. I can't tell. Maybe not. Again, they're really comfortable moving around. They've had plenty of time to see that I'm not a threat. I'm always there sitting in front of the enclosure. You can see as Ajax walking around, he's got a little butt pucker in his tail, but he's pretty confident about moving around with me just sitting here watching him. Now he's over here messing around with the glass trying to get out. And now here's Kale staring at me from the other side of the enclosure. You're going to see some interesting stuff coming up with Kale that I didn't even remember happened. Apparently, I made a couple passes at trying to get Kale to interact with me just before the first interaction video happened. And you'll see that coming up here in a second. Here's Ajax just vibing. I think Kale's gonna come perch up and stare at me, and you'll see that here in a second. Here we got Ajax staring at me. Kale's about to spook him, irritate him. Either later in that day, there's Kale looking at me again. Once again, if you let these guys see you a lot just hanging around the same room that they're in, they will get curious of you. We're probably about a week before first interaction in these videos right now. There we go, staring at me again. So this is what I was talking about. So this is maybe a day or two before first interaction, the first video of this series. And here I am. Kale was at the bottom of the glass, so this is me trying to make an attempt at some kind of interaction. But you're gonna see he's gonna come over and investigate, but he's not gonna do anything. I didn't even remember this. I was surprised when I found this video in there. But at this time, I'm already laid off from my job. I was laid off for like 2 months around this time. So probably I was just sitting here watching them staring at me all the time, and I just tried to make a go of it with, it appears, Kale first. You see, he's gonna come up. I think he just checks me out, and then he just ambles off. Yeah, he ain't interested in that. And here's the second one. Probably the same day, maybe the next day, but he's up at the glass, so it's like I'm gonna make another attempt.
Want to come out? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I just asked, do you want to come out? And then I told him he's okay. And look at that butt pucker, and he just walks away. But you see, they're pretty calm about me. Oh, and here's another thing. I still do this to this day. It's another way to, along the lines of tongue feeding, hand feeding. I do this with my guys from time to time. Even when they're outside the cage, if they're like laying over on the light, every now and then I'll come by with a little cup of water, see if they want to drink. Pretty much just because I think it's cute. Also, you can hear my dogs in the background. And you can see this is Kale. He's down at the bottom of the enclosure. Dog's probably walking right in front of there right now. Same eye level to at the same eye level as them, and they don't care. They get used to the things they see in their day-to-day life. They learn you're not a threat. So that's what you want to be doing with them. Spending a lot of time in the room with their enclosure, but doing shit that has nothing to do with them. Read a book. Anything that you can do, like if you have a laptop or something and you do stuff on it, do that around them just so that they can see you and so they can understand that you don't only exist to come to their enclosure and fuck with them. Someone in the comments was talking about how their tree monitor was skittish and would just go hide when they came near the enclosure. Well, if they see you all the time in that room, they're going to stop doing that. And then this is how they're going to behave. They're just going to go about their day-to-day lives while ignoring you. And that's what you want to do too, is you want to mostly ignore them until they become very curious of you. Then that makes this so much easier. Oh, like Ajax, so Ajax just got scared by a noise, and you see he didn't go darting away all crazy. He just looked up and over real quick to see what the noise was. He realized, oh, that's got nothing to do with me, and then he just went back to doing whatever the hell he was doing. So I'm going to end it here. Again, I just wanted you guys to see what their behavior was like leading up to interaction. All of these clips you just watched took place 1 month out up to the very day before part one of this series began, first interaction. So this is what they were looking like just prior. Now, I always harp on spending a lot of time letting them see you. This is how they start to behave and what you want to be looking for, that curiosity of you that's going to make making these attempts at interaction go way easier for you. If I could go all the way back to the beginning, I would get my lizard day one. I would just let him get comfortable. I would tongue feed. I would leave him the fuck alone. And then after like a month or two uh, of spending nonstop time in the room with him, once I saw him getting comfortable and curious of me, I would make the move. Boom, I bet you I could do it before he's 2 or 3 months old. I'm going to say it 1,000 times during this series. Unrelated activity in their presence is the number one key to making all of this possible. Let them see you doing your own thing and let them make up their own mind about you, and I assure you they will get curious of you and they will ask you for that attention.